Hey everyone, Jengar here. So today's video features the Enduring Confrontation or Enduring Conflict event. It was up again the other day and I played a good hour and a half. I'll give you my opinion on what changed and we'll talk a bit about how it was this time. I will also go into the battle rating changes and the quantitative matchmaking that has been introduced to War Thunder the other day and which has stirred up quite a bit of dust. I'll see you in the match. Hey guys, so here we are in the match. Today we're gonna talk first a little bit about what changed in the Enduring Confrontation, Enduring Conflict. There's only a few things that have changed actually since the last time. Of course, I mean not the last time that it was up for just a short day and then it was taken down again. I didn't get an opportunity to play that day, unfortunately, because I have been enjoying this in the past, but I mean the one in front of that, the one before that. That's a few months ago, right? Now, since then there was a bit of a problem with the plane lockout system the last time, which meant that once you had unlocked the last plane, you know, they work with ranges. Now this, for example, is the battle rating range 1.0 to 2.7, and you start with a biplane, and then when you do well, you play a certain time, you get to unlock other planes. Now every plane has a timer and the later planes have a longer timer. Now you can shorten this timer by doing well, and then once you at a certain point you can just take out another plane. But the problem was last time that once you had unlocked the last plane you could always pick this plane, and that was not originally intended. Now they have fixed that, and in this Enduring Conflict indeed it worked, and you could take out the last plane once you had unlocked it, and once you got shot down on it, the timer on it reset. So that meant something good for the game, because the players who have been playing longer cannot always choose the best plane now, and that's good, because otherwise it would just be clubbing the biplanes all the time in this range by players who have been playing this run from the start, who will always be flying the latest plane. Like the last time, that is not the case anymore. So that's a good thing that worked, and that's quite fun, because I did get to fly the E3 at a certain point, did very well, and it then got shut down. Then I had to choose another plane again because it was locked. It was a bit of a surprise, but I thought, yeah, that's good, and it works because I got shot down again as well after that, and it gives people a chance who just come later to the match. Now personally I have not seen a single convoy message come up, but I've heard from other players that they've seen the convoys finally. Convoys were intended for a while but had not been working, and this time I never saw them, so they need to do something about getting that clear on the map. Like, there's a convoy over there. So in these matches you check the map frequently, and you can miss a message, right, when you are in a dogfight or you're busy. So yeah, they need to do something about the indication, because if there were any convoys on my maps, they had been taken out before I even got a chance to see the message. But apparently it's in, and people have seen them, the convoy, so well, that's nice. It just needs to be fleshed out a little bit more, in my opinion. Furthermore, the issue that was brought up by the community several times, and I've heard people talk about as well, is the airfield camping. It's still a problem in some of the back airfields, from what I'm told. I have not seen it in my match that I played. I've played a good match for about an hour and a half before I had to go, and every back airfield that I spawned on didn't have the problem. The closest I saw a few planes were 5-6 kilometers, but they were fighting a few of my allies. So I didn't see it as a huge problem in here, but apparently it does happen sometimes where just respawning players just get taken off the runway. And of course a good fix for that, good deterrent would be AA guns at those back airfields as well. To put in a bit of a deterrent there for players who like to do that. I mean, in reality airfields were generally well protected as well by AA guns. And they were pretty efficient. For the rest, there's really not much difference. It's been too short, and the development of during conflict has been slow, you know. So, well, for Gaijin they need to put more people on it, maybe, if they want to flesh out this game mode quicker. It is very enjoyable. I have really enjoyed this match, and I'd love to play it more. But yeah, some things just need to be fleshed out, and that's all there's to that. We'll see how that develops. I can't wait for the next one, and hopefully they have some good working convoys and some more targets, some more aims. Maybe put in some more AI activity as well, like AI bombers or something you need to protect. I've seen that the last time, I haven't seen it this time, but and also again the messaging of that should be a little bit more noticeable. That would be cool, because then you get more interaction and more places where bigger groups of players collide, and that would be only adding to the fun, of course. Okay, so that's pretty much enough about that subject. The next subject, of course, is the battle rating system and the changes to the matchmaker. There have been a lot of controversy on the forums and on Reddit about this subject. The question was always for players that they wanted a different matchmaker, and Gaijin announced quite a while ago that they would come with a new matchmaker and a new system, right? I mean, we are working with the battle rating system, which, I mean, all the time that I've been playing, and that's about a year and a half now, the battle rating system has been criticized, and for good reason, because it's a system that has its faults. It doesn't always work that well. And there's a lot of room to wiggle in the battle rating system as well, which again comes over for players as as a system that doesn't work well. But now it took a long time before Gaijin came up with it just took months and months after they made that announcement for them to come with a new matchmaker. And it was not what everybody had expected. They came with quantitative matchmaking, which had been, well, how do you call that? Some players did like that idea, quantitative matchmaking, which means that certain planes or certain battle rating vehicles can only be either tanks or planes, of course, can only be a few of a certain kind in a match. And for example, what you always had was matches where, for example, one team had one jet of 6.7 and then only props, and the other team had a team full of jets with 7.0s and 7.3s. That is what the matchmaker was doing, and players had the hope that with a quantitative matchmaker the solution would be that the matchmaker didn't allow for more than, let's say, 4 jets in one team, and then would search for 4 jets in the other team, which would balance out the teams and would make for better matches, or at least that's what players, that's what the community thought and hoped for. And finally it was announced, and everybody was happy. But what was also announced was new battle rating changes, and not just some battle rating changes, but they were changes across the board, and most specifically and most noticeably it was a lot of battle rating changes in tier 5. And the problem with that is, what you would say, if you're not playing tier 5 yourself, you might say, well, why is that a problem? Well, the problem is that the players, the community, have been asking for stretching the battle rating range in tier 5. They wanted to extend it, to make it larger. For example, adding tier 10 and tier 11, so that certain planes just could not face each other. Because when you're fighting jets, and I mean, I'm just scratching the jets, I haven't played them a lot yet, so I really don't know most about it, but if you're fighting a Saber with a HO 229 and stuff like that, it just doesn't make the game very nice for the person in the HO 229, and there's more comparisons to make. You know, some things you just don't want to face. So, but instead of doing that, instead of listening to these suggestions by the community, the battle rating changes that Gaijin has introduced have compressed the battle ratings at tier 5, which means that the top battle rating has not been extended to, for example, say 11, but it has been pushed down to 8.3. Now the problem with this is that more of the jets will face each other. So the early jets will face Sabers and MiG-15 Bizes, and they just don't have a chance. But Gaijin has then said, well, we want to do that because we have the quantitative matchmaker now, and that will make sure that only, for example, 2 Sabers are in one team and they will face the Saber or the Sabers, or for example the MiGs in the other team. Two MiGs and 2 Sabers against each other. And of course this all sounds very logical, but it doesn't take certain things into consideration. Like as a player, you don't want to be dependent on some guy on your team who's flying a MiG-15 Biz somewhere to take out the Saber that is on your ass, because you yourself have no chance of running away from him. Let's say you're in an LA-15, you have no chance to run away from him, you have no chance to maneuver with him, and you just get slaughtered basically. And it's just something that you need to take into consideration, I think, because of course it would maybe increase teamwork, but not all players they really mind the team, right? If those are the players that are in your 2 Sabers that need to dish it out with the MiG-15s, and they are just on a killing spree against the other jets in the match, not paying any mind to the MiGs, well then you've got a problem, because there is no way you can face these jets. And with planes, it's, yeah, I mean, if you're a good pilot, you can still do something with an earlier jet against the top jets, but yeah, equal player to equal player, of course not. But with tanks, it's even more pronounced, because when you are in an early tier 5 tank against the top tiers, you just can't penetrate some tanks frontally, for example. You would have to go around it, and by that time that tank would have shot you to pieces. So what you're going to get is the top tiers 2, 3, 4 of those tanks that are in the match just having a party, you know, a killing spree of it. It's just going to be a slaughter. And there has been a lot of feedback from the community about this, and that people just don't like it. And fair enough that they don't like it, because it is quite a change. And let's say Gaijin has not been known for its open and clear communication with the community, and that is something that, yeah, that hopefully they'll have to work on. And I hope that one day they will start seeing that the customer, we, the player base, we are not the enemy. We are actually an ally. If I look at other games, like for example how Star Citizen works with their customers and takes the feedback to heart and tries to make the game better together with the player, right? Like say, like here's something we are developing. What do you guys think about it? Let them try it out, take the feedback, improve it, and of course you can have your view of the game as a developer. But there is something like mutual respect for the customers and for your player base, and vice versa. And if you do that right, you can have vibrant community that works with you, and together you make the game as great as possible. Unfortunately, that has not been happening, and of course, I mean, I've read some of the posts on both Reddit and the forums, and some people cannot keep their emotions away from the issue. And that's unfortunate, because with those kind of posts, you know, those emotional posts with a lot of rantings and a lot of, let's say, inappropriate language used, they are not gonna give you the goal that you want. Although I understand the frustration, of course. It's often better to get a point across to a person, to keep it calm, keep it steady, make an intelligent post about what you want to say, and then have a discussion about that. And I mean, the way the forum moderators have responded to some of you guys, it's also not completely correct, let's say that. But it's emotions on their side as well. It's just a back and forth of emotions the last few months. And this battle rating change and the competitive matchmaker have only added to that and made it worse. So it's quite of a pickle now that Gaijin has gotten themselves in. But it's still not too late, I would say. It's still not too late to start listening and to change the way they communicate. I mean, the player council, for example, was a great idea. But to be honest, I have no idea what happened to it. Since they started the elections, there has been no feedback, no posts on the main on the launcher, for example, right? Where you say like, hey, the play council is doing this, we're deciding over that, we're thinking about this, give your feedback here. That kind of stuff could be way more pronounced, way more in your face. If you want to work on good communications, that's the kind of stuff you want to work at. We want to make things visible, and you gotta take it seriously. It's also, it's like I said, it's mutual respect. I mean, people who've played this game for thousands and thousands of hours, they have some knowledge about what is wrong and what is good with the game. And if you can take that feedback from players who spend all these hours, amounts of hours that developers can never have. They can never have so much time invested because they are working on the game. So those players are actually more knowledgeable about the practical results of their programming and their decisions, and they should actually use that feedback, because it's the best feedback you can get from very experienced players. So I would hope that they could activate things like that again, player council, and really work together with them, and in that way still save this game, because it still has so much potential. It's still there to be the success. I mean, many people have stopped playing for a little bit, or taken a break, you know. But I am sure that if things would change in certain things, and communication would improve and would be better, that many of those people would come back, because there is still, I mean, for air there is no competitor for War Thunder at the moment, especially for modes like arcade mode and realistic mode. There is no real competition for War Thunder. There are some good sims out there that can compete, but in graphical fidelity also this thing is just the best game, even in sim, in my opinion. But yeah, so let's hope they take that to heart and they listen to the community through all the emotion. Hope they can filter through it and see that this isn't working. These battle rating changes are not working, and the quantitative matchmaking also it's not what you want. You don't want to put people in a huge advantage and then be dependent on other players to kill the tank that's in front of them, you know. Maybe the two tanks that supposedly should do that are on the other side of the map, and you just get slaughtered, and that is not fun. Let's get that clear. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now there was a lot to talk about, and to sum it all up is hard, you know. You could talk about a lot of things, like I don't agree with the premiums being scaled down differently. I don't agree with the new battle ratings of many planes. I don't agree with the battle ratings being compressed in the top tiers, because that creates all kinds of problems down the line. I don't agree with the battle rating system in general, but there are so many things that we cannot influence, and that is pointless unless one thing improves, and that really lies with Gaijin, and that is communication. You know, how do you communicate with a player base, with people, with the community that really are passionate about this game, want to see it grow, and use their influence, their opinion and their views on the game to improve your game. That is really something that Gaijin needs to work at, and I like to again bring in the example of Star Citizen with Chris Roberts' team and how they interact with the community. You know, from Star Citizen I see videos every week, multiple videos about communication with the community, answering questions, having special videos up where devs talk with a presenter and then they answer questions, and it's just great. You get a feeling you are involved, and people's questions get answered, and on the forums people have input on with ideas, and the developers really put something out there, put it in the game, which is still in beta, of course, just like War Thunder, and they use the feedback to improve what they have, and there comes into play something called mutual respect. That is a bit lost right now, and if Gaijin could work on that, mutual respect, you know, earn the support of the and the respect of the player base back again by just doing common sense things like communication and be clear, and have the moderators be polite and be patient with all the emotions of the community, because that's basically where it gets fueled, right? How you answer these people who are so emotional. I'm not condoning some of the posts out there, but the points are still valid, even though there's emotion in the post, and especially people like moderators should really set the emotion they have themselves aside, not take it personally, and also look through the emotion of some people, because some of the players are quite young and they cannot keep their emotion out of their posts and out of their questions. But if you do that, if Gaijin does that, and they win back some respect, and they get back on the communication on track, you know, and they work on that, and they work on things like the player council, and make it seriously something that is real, that is tangible, that can be seen, that is visible, make it visible, then this game still has a good chance to become the best flight sim out there, because it offers something that no other game has, and that is three different things combined into one, you know, air, ground and naval, potentially in the future. If they can pull that off and have a good communication with the community and good relations, then my god, this could be all we wanted. And that's also what we wanted. That's part of the frustration, right? The game has so much potential, and we all see it, we all dream about it, but Gaijin hasn't been able to completely deliver on that, and that's a shame. That really is a shame. I really hope they can turn that around because I mean I have respect for Gaijin as they made this game where I have so many hours of fun, but I really think they could do several things better, and I hope they will. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like the video. Definitely leave me a comment about all this. I would love to discuss this stuff with you. And if you want to see more, subscribe. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.